on U.S.-Russia talks? When will they restart?
They're starting already.
You told me earlier that you could sanction Russia. Why wait? Why wait to sanction them?
Because I'm waiting to see whether or not a deal is signed. 5,000 young people are being killed every week in Russia, Ukraine. And if I can stop that, I'll be very happy. I only care about saving lives.
President Trump there discussing the state of Russia's war in Ukraine at the G7 summit on Monday. Russia's carrying out one of the deadliest attacks on Kyiv yesterday, killing at least 23 people, injuring dozens others. Ukraine's foreign minister posted on X, in part, Russia not only rejects a ceasefire or a leaders' meeting to find solutions and end the war, it cynically strikes Ukraine's capital while pretending to seek diplomatic solutions. The U.S. Embassy in Ukraine also condemning the attack. Joining me now live from Brussels is U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Matthew Whitaker. Ambassador, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. How does the war on Iran impact Russia's fighting of Ukraine?
Yeah. Well, good morning, Maria. And obviously, it's a very dangerous world. Every single day, we see security challenges and everyone turning to the United States of America to help them solve it. And, you know, the United States, in order to be credible, in order to be strong, you know, we need to invest in our own security and our own defenses, and we need our allies to, quite frankly, be strong. And that's why, you know, as you know, we're heading to the Hague Summit next week in this context of a dangerous world, and we're urging our allies to invest dramatically more than they ever have in their own defense and in the collective defense. And so, you know, this moment that we have, you know, is historic. And I just want to say one other thing about those attacks on Ukraine. Obviously, we lost an American citizen, is my understanding. And I know that Tammy Bruce, the spokeswoman for the State Department, has condemned those attacks. I want to join that voice in condemning those attacks. You know, obviously the military conflict is one thing, but it's when you're targeting citizens, I think that crosses a line. And Donald Trump is right. We want peace. He's a peacemaker, and he needs, you know, to make sure that both sides are cooperating, trying to move towards a peace, towards a ceasefire that will endure. And I think Donald Trump is the only person in the world right now that can bring both parties to the table and get this peace deal done. But he's going to remain and maintain all options that are available to him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wondered if Israel's attack on Iran and Iran sort of on the run right now would pressure Russia to ease up on Ukraine, but apparently not.
Yeah, obviously, in this dynamic, it's hard to predict how people respond to the various, you know, threats that they face. You know, right now, the war in Ukraine, there is no military solution for it. It is almost a frozen front. You know, there are 5,000 people are dying in that war every single week, as the president pointed out, and we need a ceasefire. We need it immediately, and we need it to endure. As it relates to what the president is considering with Iran, all options are at his disposal, but he has drawn a red line. And knowing President Trump like I do, he has said that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
And so obviously, you know, he is going to put America first. And by America first, that means the American citizens first. And so he is considering what's in their best security interests going forward, and how can our children grow up in peace and prosperity like he was elected to provide everyone.
Of course. Ambassador, the NATO summit happening next week in the Netherlands. Tell us what the main focus will be there.
Yeah, it's really about the rotation of traditional European defense to our European allies. Obviously, the United States is not leaving, and we're going to continue to be a part of it, but having them take over a significant portion of their own security, having it be credible, and having the alliance be strong, because that strength will deter adversaries, including Russia, and at the same time, that will put the burden of European traditional defense on European taxpayers and make sure that the alliance is built to last. But, you know, we're going to have a historic moment. This could be one of the biggest foreign policy wins for President Trump, getting our European and Canadian allies to spend 5% on their own security and defense, and therefore on the alliance's security and defense, and that credible deterrence and investing in warfighting capabilities for the 21st century, including infrastructure, mobility, but also tanks and F-35s, I think is what's going to make this alliance really be the strongest and most successful alliance for the next 76 years. You know, I was at the Paris Air Show yesterday, and I saw what American manufacturing base is turning out. I saw F-35s. I saw the heavy, equipment and helicopters and all the things that the United States is the best in the world at making, and our European allies are there shopping for it with this additional money, but they're also going to have to invest in their own defense industries to make sure that we don't just see inflation from this, because, the United States of America needs a lot of that equipment we're manufacturing for our own security and our own defense industries. But, we're going to keep pushing towards this 5% of GDP on defense and security, and I think we're going to get it. Our allies are very close. I have an important meeting this afternoon here in Brussels to take the next step forward on that, and we're going to keep pushing to make sure that President Trump delivers what he promised the American people, and that is peace through strength.
Well, that's right. And nobody was talking about Europe paying up and paying their fair share in terms of their own defense until President Trump raised the issue in his first term. But, Ambassador, who's pushing back? I mean, you've got Poland, I know, already at the 5% plus level. You've got a world that is dangerous and getting more dangerous by the day. Is Europe expecting the United States to defend them in the face of China on the march, Iran on the march, Russia on the march?
Well, up until President Trump showed up on the world stage, I think that's exactly what they were planning. And our European allies, the closer you are, oftentimes to the eastern flank, informs kind of how you view defense and security. Obviously, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, as you mentioned, and others that are on the front lines. With Russia, take this incredibly serious and understand the threats that they face. At the same time, I think Germany has really woke up, and I think this is an important moment in the alliance, because with Germany driving to spend a lot more on their own defense and therefore on collective defense, I think that has been a moment. I think the challenge for some of these countries, Maria, has been their fiscal mismanagement up to this point. I think a lot of them, have overspent on their own, social frameworks and fabric, and so that doesn't allow them a lot of flexibility. What we need to do really is teach American innovation and entrepreneurism to our European allies. They need to reduce the barriers to trade. They need to encourage innovation, investment. We just have such a different framework in the United States, and it drives our growth and prosperity. But we need to make sure that the European economy is strong so that it can support this pivot into their own defense and security, which is going to be crucial as we have to address our security globally, including, as you mentioned, our strategic competition with China over the next century.
Exactly. Ambassador, good to see you this morning. We'll be watching your work and the NATO meeting next week. Thank you, sir.